Hey, welcome everyone to the Nutmeg Tavern. Where's Ryan? Oh, nobody behind the bar today, but I'm here. I'm your host, John Townsend. There's plenty of room here in the Nutmeg Tavern. We're live and it's Friday. Thank goodness, right? Friday, late in the afternoon, it's 4 o'clock here. Wonderful time to get together. And then in a little while, we can all go home. So, I'm here on this side. There's the technical side of the tavern over there. Guys that make all this kind of stuff happen. Behind the console is Aaron, and he's making sure the stream does what it's supposed to do and all the other technical gook that goes on. And there's Ryan, and Ryan is in the question seat. We're missing, he would be back here, but instead he's there in the question seat.
I'm right here in the question seat.
There you go. Since he's not serving, I have to serve myself. So I have,
I'm sorry, John.
Wonderful Madeira here to, as my drink of the day. And what are we starting out with, Ryan? Are we going to start out with one of these, emails that came in? What do you think? Or do I have something else I should start out with?
Well, yeah, I think those emails are interesting. Let's do that.
Let's do one of these emails. Got this Thursday, so that was yesterday. David Baxter, and he says nice things, and then he says he recently was at the Smithsonian Rare Book Room at the Museum of National History. He was permitted to see the collection of James Smithson's books, and among them was a Hannah Glass Art of Cookery, which is pretty funny, but very popular, which of course I recognized because of your channel. I was permitted to take a couple of pictures. I thought it would be interesting. I thought you might be interested in them. The second photo, which he attached, did we get the photos? I don't remember looking at them.
Yeah, Aaron's got them.
Oh, okay. The second photo, I believe, is James Stinson's favorite recipe from the book. I think this is his actual handwriting, and I believe the copy itself was his mother's copy, although I might have that part wrong. And he wants to give credit and say nice things about the Smithsonian Libraries, which of course is very, very cool. So, fun email, interesting tidbit. Did you have something, a takeaway on that, Ryan?
No, I get really excited when people share those travels with us. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, I was just immediately like, hey, can we share this with the library?
Yes,
he was excited about that. So.
I did have another share there too, somewhere in all my, Vaughn Reitmeyer, happy birthday. There you go. Okay. What else did I have?
Do you have that other one that dealt with the Carolina backcountry?
I did. Where is it here? Nope, that's a different piece of paper. I got way too much for today's program. Leonard Henry. And he was writing about the Charles Wood Mason book that we mentioned a couple different times on the channel. He says the house in the attached photo is the Kershaw house, and the Kershaw house is a house that gets described where Wood Mason was in Kershaw County of South Carolina, and there's this just beautiful sort of mansion house here. He says Nancy's standing in front of the house. The house was taken by Lord Cornwallis and Lord Rawdon for their headquarters during the British occupation of Camden. Joseph Kershaw was put under house arrest in Charleston, but the rest of the family was allowed to stay in the servants' quarters, at which Mrs. Kershaw complained considerably, and then, well, Mrs. Kershaw, if you find the arrangements unsatisfactory, you can stay in the chicken coop with the fowl, said Lord Rawdon. He was reported to have said. And then she doesn't complain anymore, which is probably smart. When the British retreated back to Charleston, the family was allowed to take what possessions they could load into a wagon. No, they didn't leave them there. They took them with as prisoner. The remainder was piled in the front yard and put to the torch. They spared the house, but a point about the rebellion, I don't know about what that part was. 2 walnut tables were saved, and to this day, they're referred to as the Cornwallis tables. Yeah, thank you, Leonard Henry, about that little bit of history. There's always, we can only tell little bits of the history, and it just keeps going, and there are these wonderful tidbits that just are so fun to get more information about. So thank you so much on that one.
We've got some folks that say they're longtime subscribers, but this is their first time to the Nutmeg Tavern.
Welcome to the Nutmeg Tavern, longtime subscribers. This is sort of a hidden gem on, not this show particularly, but this idea of doing live streams on YouTube, because YouTube doesn't necessarily give the same kind of notifications about it, and a lot of people who have subscribed to the channel for a long time don't even know that it's happening. So there you go.
And then Parson, John, and Maggie say hello from Sycamore Shoals.
There you go. I saw your comment in the on Wednesday's video. Thank you for your. They're in Sycamore Shoals.
Sycamore Shoals. That's right.
Traveling. Where should I go, Ryan? Where should I go?
Well, I was thinking it would be fun to just go straight into
the goodies.
Yeah.
So we thought we would do a little bit of show and tell. I'm always interested about historical things. In Wednesday's video, excuse you right there. In Wednesday's video, I showed you a watch. And did you get some close-up footage of the watch, Aaron? Or did you keep that hidden?
It's playing right now.
Oh, it's playing right now. So this is probably a 1790, 1795, 18th century watch. And these are fusee watches that have, there's just this really, really interesting whole design inside this watch. And the watch is... 18th century watches are just so interesting, so intricate, so handmade, yet they were sort of an assembly line kind of product. And this one is fun just to have and to hold and to think about. It isn't a running watch. This particular mechanism isn't terribly easy to keep going in the long run. And so they're not easy to repair, and so most of the time they're really not worth repairing. Some people repair them, but they don't work tremendously well. But they're an amazing design, and if you get to see the insides of this thing, which I think I'm going to do a special video on at some point in the future, just really cool. So there's the watch. There's a piece that I recently picked up. I wanted to pick up one piece. It was gone, but he had this pipe tamp piece, which is a find, one of those like metal detector find in an area that it's probably an early 18th century piece, although it's amazingly similar to a lot of modern pipe tools. So it's a combination three-piece with the pick, the little spoon, and the tamper. Very, very interesting piece. And he actually puts it down as bronze. And I didn't think it was bronze until I just held it in my hand just now. And there's a little piece of metal that's flaked off, and it does look brassy underneath. So a bronze piece from the early 18th century. Pipe smoking was just tremendously popular in the 18th century. So there are a lot of these kinds of different tools and equipment that went with pipe smoking. And this is one of those pieces right out of the 18th century. We may try to reproduce a piece like this, although it's so similar to a lot of modern pieces, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ryan?
It's pretty much exactly like a modern check tool that you'll get.
Yeah, there's some slight variations in some of the shapes, but not much. Not much at all. Amazing.
Now it's just kind of like that. The elongated straight piece is just kind of like a straight piece of wire with a little bit of a point on the end. It's more of a spade on the shovel,
right?
And a wider hole for it to go on your key ring. But they're pretty much exactly the same.
They usually have a big kind of
and
ring.
Not all of them are like that. Some of them aren't made to go on your key ring, but
but a lot of them are. So here's the last piece, and this one I've been holding back for a good 6 months. Here's the outer case of it. We don't have close-up pictures of it, so
you don't need them.
Yeah. So it says 1790 up here, kind of hand-carved in it, and you guys are probably guessing what's in here, right? No, it's not a tricorn hat box.
I was trying to think of what kind of instrument could fit in there.
Yeah, I don't know what instrument, except for a mathematical instrument or astronomical instrument.
Oh, somebody guessed.
Oh, there you go. So this is a sextant from the late 18th century, similar. What?
Sorry, somebody said something funny.
People are reading and. Anyway, even the box is really neat. I can't show you some close-ups of it, but it's got some things pasted on the inside from the maker, little advertisements, just almost little decorations. There's a little bit of green baize in here that is holding or sort of protecting the like velvet in here. And here is the piece. So and of course, hey, I'm wearing the right clothes for this today. I wasn't even think about this. I was trying on this new jacket today, and this guy is for taking the altitude of the sun. You can use it for some other things too, taking bearings on ideas, taking the altitudes of different stars at times, but obviously for navigational purposes. And it's to hold it in your hand is very, very neat, and to look at it and see how it was made, because this was made by hand. The pieces with the scales here, they used a mechanical device to get the indexing so that each one of these little gradations is perfect. But all the lettering and all the numbers are laid out by hand. And it's got brass work, it's got a little steel work, it's got optics here. You have to, if you're taking the sun's altitude, you have to have different sorts of shades on here. So these are little shades that you drop down so it doesn't blind you with the sun coming in there. But some of these are green shades, red shades, so you can drop these different things down, and you're trying to figure out exactly what the altitude of the sun is and exactly when it gets to the noon time so that you can figure out your latitude, right? The up-down on the map. You can't figure the longitude out until you have some other sort of method or have something like the moons of Jupiter to look at. But this is one of those pieces that I have been able to pick up. So you can hold the 18th century in your hands, and it is so much fun. Was I missing anything on that one? Did I have any other thoughts I needed to place? We can time travel. I mean, I talked about that in the Wednesday video, and there is, when we have these things, when we can go to a place, when we can hold parts of the 18th century in your hands or look at it, we can read their actual thoughts and see what they're thinking in art. It is, I don't know, I think we're very, very fortunate.
I'm going to do some donations real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you do that, it's somebody special's birthday. Did you see that in the chat?
Somebody special?
It's Max Sarkool's birthday.
Whoa, another birthday.
Happy birthday.
Right on. All right, let's do this. Okay, Maggie Morehouse, thank you.
Thank you.
Discuss costs of your clothes compared to the 1800s. Redmond Workshops, thank you. Loved your pen video from Goodlettsville.
Oh, yeah.
I used to live about 5 minutes from there and always like going there. Looking forward to the series. Thank you. Dite Jensen, thanks for the wonderful channel. Thank you. Max are cool. Thank you. And happy birthday. Love this everyday look, John. Thank you. Lisa Lachlan, love the channel. Thanks for all the great historical info and recipes. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
So clothing, right?
Yeah. I forgot to write down the question. The clothing.
I think it was the cost comparison between now and then.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an inflation maybe question. Like,
well, I mean, so today you can go and buy very, very, very inexpensive clothing, and I can go to a store in a local city and I can probably buy very, very expensive clothing. So the comparison to, I don't know, is it the comparison of the clothing that we sell compared to what it would sell for in the time period?
Yeah, I don't know. Cost of your clothes compared to, like, I don't know if they mean modern clothes or...
Well,
Yeah.
Let's see if they get on the show.
some of that gets a little tricky too, because there are clothes that you made and there were clothes that you bought, and now
Right.
there's not a whole lot of
Right.
making of clothing in
Right.
households.
Right.
So.
The clothing that we sell as reproduction clothing is, in comparison to other handmade pieces of clothing made by people in the United States, is way too cheap. So reenactment clothes in general tend to be very, very inexpensive if you are comparing them to, oh, I'm going to go to somebody in my local town and have them make me a suit. If you can find someone, they're going to charge a lot of money. So in comparison, reenactment clothing is very inexpensive. Now, if we're comparing 18th century clothing and its cost as to how much money someone would spend as a component of their livelihood on clothing in the 18th century versus what we pay for clothing today, it would be, it's just so astronomically different. Clothing was so much more expensive compared to what they earned on an average day or average year that is not even funny. So it would be a very, very difficult comparison to make because we have industrialized our clothing and it is incredibly cheap. That comes at a cost. That means we don't connect with our clothing at all. If we could only afford 3 shirts and 2 pair of pants, well, then we would take care of them differently than we do now, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think some people can probably connect. If you've ever had a gift given to you where somebody made that hat or that scarf or that shirt, and then it's like, oh, I really want to take care of this thing.
Yes, very much so.
While we're talking about clothing, a lot of people in the chat are noticing your clothing today, and so we should talk about what it is and who would wear it.
Yeah, this is an experimental jacket. I had a batch of this fabric that we weren't sure exactly what we're going to use it for. This beautiful sort of electric blue, or it's not really electric, but royal blue fabric that we've got. And the question is, what's the best garment for this? And these double-breasted sailor jackets are very interesting. Sometimes we think that sailor jackets from the time period were a navy blue, but apparently a bright blue is also a very popular color for those. So I went ahead and had the seamstresses make this one up as a sample, brass buttons on it. So it might be a very typical sailor jacket for that early 19th century time period. Underneath is a 19th century waistcoat. So early 19th century waistcoat with a little stand-up collar. This one's in natural linen with pewter buttons. And the top hat, I couldn't find my early 19th century top hat. It's gone missing. I'll have to make Ryan make me another one. I don't know where it came. I know it came back from Tennessee.
You've worn it since then, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I wonder if I left
You
it.
lost your hat?
Yeah, I don't know where my hat is.
I'll
Anyway.
make you a good one.
Anyway, so I'm wearing the other style of top hat, which is slightly later. So that's
I think the best comment I read so far was, when are you going to take us on the tour of the chocolate factory?
Oh yeah.
That's from that movie, John. You know what I'm talking about? Do you get it? Get it?
There's a movie about a chocolate factory?
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Yeah, what's yours?
And they had chocolate in the 18th
Sounds like
century,
a real
so we're
snore
okay with that.
fest.
You need to take that back.
I bet you it's got stupid songs in it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Only one. Only one stupid song.
You're up.
Somebody's asking if there's a sprinkler cap on our mushroom ketchup.
A sprinkler
no.
cap.
They said they're going to ask it again.
No.
Because
No, you take the lid off and it goes gook, 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 gook.
You could pour the whole thing out accidentally, which I probably...
Sometimes I pour into the lid to use it as a little measuring cup and then pour it out. But what?
It's such a shallow lid. It's so little.
But you don't just pour this stuff out. I mean, it's
you don't
potent
need a
stuff,
lot.
and you
Well,
don't want to waste
I
it.
do things like a barbarian, and I put my thumb over the top of it to sprinkle some out. Yeah, I know.
Ew. Ew.
Well, we know who the barbarian is. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, you shouldn't look to me for a lot of questions right now because my computer died and I lost everything. So I'm going off the
Hey,
fly.
what's your favorite song in Willy Wonka?
Ooh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Favorite song in Willy Wonka? Well, it's not the one that the mother sings.
I was gonna.
while
That's
she-
the worst song in the movie. Cheer up,
Like,
Charlie.
No,
Fast forward
no.
every time. Definitely Veruca's. The "Don't Care How I Want It Now."
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since I watched that version.
John was just telling me yesterday about how his favorite one is the Johnny Depp one.
No, I like different parts of both of them. But that is so off topic, guys. Just let's get back to where we need to go.
Oh man.
I'll give you time. I want to talk about Patreon. We have these wonderful people on Patreon that support what we do on this channel by giving us just a little bit of money each month. They kind of sign up for that, and it gets taken care of. So we've got some brand new this week Patreon supporters: Brian Carter, Kyle Maynard, Mark Spring, Colin McDonald, and Bryce A. I don't know, A for anonymous. I don't know what it is. So we've got some brand new Patreon folks, and I want to thank you everyone who's a Patreon supporter. Thank you guys for helping us do what we do here on this channel. It isn't easy. We have a lot of fun though, and you help us have fun bringing history to YouTube. Let's talk about a couple weeks ago. We celebrated 900,000 subscribers. That's a lot. But there's another number. There's channel views. How many times have people viewed the videos on our channel? What's the number right now, Aaron?
Well, the number in the stats is 99,855,726. Officially, it is over 100 million total because of videos either being unlisted or something like that.
Right. So they take away some of those numbers
We're
if
just-
you show the
Right.
video and then you delist it, which we've got some ancient videos that are just horrible.
Point being, it's over 100 million
100
views.
million channel views. And it's all because you guys keep watching the videos over and over again. I know it.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
And what I think is cool about that number is how we've had some pretty popular videos,
Yeah.
but no video that's done like
No.
10 million.
No.
So it's all very consistent.
Right. What's
It's
the
all-
max? The max is like 2
not
million.
even 3.
Yeah, or not 3. So
Right.
Um,
So it's not like
Right.
one video takes up a huge percentage
Right.
of that.
Exactly.
It's all like everyone's into everything, which is really, really awesome.
Yep. Incredible, and
Yeah.
you guys make that happen.
And I would argue more than half of those numbers have been in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
I think it was 300,000 in the last year, so that's a third of it in the last 300 days or so.
300,000. You mean
300 million.
no? We're not 3 million.
Sorry,
3
whatever
million.
it is, 30 million. Yeah.
Hey, Nutmeg for life. Thank
Woo.
you. Very nice donation. Says nice hat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. So yeah, it has been pretty awesome. Kind of, we were talking the other day about we haven't really sat back and looked back on all the projects we've done. The other day I was at home, like watching some of the videos with my kid, and I just was like, oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one. We did that one. We haven't really had a chance to like
Yes.
really reflect.
Really say, really? We
Yeah.
did that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
because we're just going all the time. But
Yeah.
we're so thankful for everyone who watches and helps us out. We couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much. You need more time, Ryan?
No, I can start going.
Okay.
How far from the Michigan state line are you guys? Some people
Oh.
want to visit.
Yeah, we're about, what is it, an hour and 20
Hour and a half,
minutes?
Yeah, not too far.
Hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes from the state line?
Well, yeah,
Maybe even-
we're
Solid.
east
Solid
in
hour.
Indiana, northeast.
Yeah.
There you go.
If I'm driving, I'll get you there in 22
Yeah,
minutes.
Ryan.
Well, Ryan can get to Louisville in 2 hours.
Yes.
I've never gotten there. I have gotten to Louisville in 3 hours, which is pretty ridiculous.
That's impressive.
Let's go.
Dangerously.
I'm not waiting around. I mean, come on. Did women use tobacco, and if so, what kind?
Oh, yeah. Women are using tobacco, and you'll see, women pipe smokers, and Martha Washington, she liked snuff. So there you go.
Lots of women wearing the snuff.
Yeah. It's you didn't, it wasn't as dirty. Maybe, I don't know. Didn't need as much equipment. I don't.
It seems like women who smoked pipes in the 18th century were looked down upon for that. From what I can tell in my
That would be an
reading.
interesting piece of research.
Yeah, I can't say it definitively.
Well, I'll bet you it's a class thing, right?
It very well could be,
right.
yeah.
So it's like a lower class woman might smoke a pipe, and then as you go up and up, you're going to be using snuff instead.
Like like Mrs. Washington.
Yeah, like Martha.
Do you enjoy watching shows set in the time period on like HBO or in movies? Do you enjoy that, or is it just irritating because they get everything wrong?
It doesn't bug me, but I don't watch a tremendous quantity of television or movies. I just love the Master and Commander movie. So, I mean, that doesn't bug me.
That's probably the best one.
Okay, it's the best one. But if only they did a sequel. Come on, guys.
I think people would be into it now.
I think so.
I really do.
They could do a prequel and get a younger,
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, he's probably looking a little.
Yeah, he's pretty
aged
old
these
now.
days.
Yeah, that movie came out in 2003. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
That and
Time flies.
Return of the King came out like within 2 weeks of each other. That was a good time for movies.
Yes.
There's a back and forth about whether or not they have to pay us for us to answer their questions. No, you don't have to pay us. You just have to have somebody better than me on the computer with the questions.
But it doesn't hurt.
Last week I barely got any because they were all like donations and stuff. So sorry.
Somebody says Maggie would smoke a pipe. I bet.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
If
Maybe
nothing
Maggie's
else, to
got
keep
something
away
to
the
say about
fumes.
that.
Well, Maggie during the resurrectionist era for sure.
Right.
I would
So here's the deal. Somebody says maybe for 1 million subscribers we get a blooper video going.
Oh yeah, I think we can make for 1 million subscribers. He doesn't. You hear that?
Well, no,
he's over there
it's-
signed because he doesn't want to do the work.
No, it's not that. It's that the
I'll make up
we'll
bloopers.
fake the
I'll do-
bloopers.
Because John's actually really good at this, and so it's like he doesn't screw up enough.
I
to make-
screw up
At-
all the time.
But they're not
But at
funny
this
screw-ups.
They're
point,
just not-
yeah, they're not.
I'm just not funny.
Well, no, they're just. Oh, I messed up a word, and you have to say it again. But it happens like 3 times per video shoot, and it's
A lot of false starts.
Mary
it's
Baker
not
would
funny.
like everyone to know that there's nothing wrong with Russell Crowe at any age.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry, Mr. Crow.
What kind of pies were most common in the 18th century?
They did all the same kind of pies that we do, but we don't do as many meat pies, especially in North America. Meat pies just have never caught on in North America the same way. Maybe we have chicken pot pies, right? But not, and of course the kind you'd buy in the store that are frozen and then you cook it and burn your tongue like 100 billion times. Anyway, meat pies, a lot more popular in the 18th century. So I think that's the answer we need for that. And we have a really interesting pie episode in the works.
Yeah.
In the works. We thought maybe we would shoot it on Monday, where we have special guests coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
We got to talk about that, too. We got lots to talk about.
Got lots to talk about. Yeah, we're going to do a live stream, right? Monday?
Monday.
Special live
Special
stream.
live-
Do we know
stream.
what time it is?
Probably the usual time for
4 o'clock?
Yeah, we're
That's-
going
Okay,
4 o'clock.
so set your calendar, get in your phone, which of course is keeping you not connected.
Not only that, there will be a video post as well, probably about half hour before the live stream. So
a
you're gonna
video
get
post
a
too.
double dip.
So there'll be a cooking video,
No, not a cooking video.
not a cooking video, but a video, a writing video, and a live stream. It's going to be a busy day on Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be outside. We're not going to be
Not
intense.
not an
but-
intent. Great. Thanks, John. Jeez. Every time. So somebody is asking, and this is an interesting question. You're really just eating that up. Aren't you?
I got maybe too much Madeira.
I would like some Madeira. I'm
Sorry,
I,
too bad for you.
I'm never in the Nutmeg Tavern without a drink in my hand. Jeez Louise. So somebody is asking about. Now we've covered like how did people stay cool in the 18th century, and they didn't. But what about heat waves? Like we've got this heat wave going on.
Yeah.
Have you seen references to like crazy heat waves in the 18th century and what people were doing or thinking about that?
I've seen some, but none of that pops into my mind right this second. But they certainly had issues with. I mean, a lot of these folks were from Europe, and they just weren't used to the as hot as we have it here, or the intense cold, and so it does tend to be a something that people, especially travelers that are coming from Europe, talk about in their journals. So Peter Kalm would talk about that sort of thing, and even Nicholas Creswell might talk about that sort of thing in there, and a lot of those different people that are journaling as they're traveling in North America. There's a tremendous quantity of interest in Europe, in Great Britain, about North America in the time period. And so those sorts of writings were in demand. And so people that would come over would write about their travels. So it was both, I mean, it was interesting. And of course, it's very interesting to us because we get to see them describe, or, through their eyes of their writing, describing North America in the 18th century. So it's very, very interesting dipping into those journals.
Somebody said, where'd that comment go? Crack team of schedulers here, guys. I just realized we scheduled it out on the live stream. What do you think, guys? Yeah, sure, why not?
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things like that here.
How
Okay.
about everybody insult me in my work, because that specifically is like my...
We still at the core are a mom and pop shop.
Okay.
Forever.
So,
Way mom and pop.
I didn't see who said, "Hey Ryan, check out this Curious Panda question," but I found it. So thank you, whoever that was. Curious Panda says, "I own a coin shop in Indiana. I would like to send you guys 1800s coins to talk about. Is that okay?"
It is, although we have a fairly large collection of 18th century coins that we can talk about. We just don't, because like the coins the replica coins that we sell in our website are based off of actually molds from original 18th century coins. Now, did they say 18th century coins or 1800s? So that's 19th century coins.
Yeah.
So I generally do not do a lot of 19th century coinage. It would be interesting, and I certainly would send them back or whatever. So
I'm going to do some more donations. Plenty of donations. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that.
Very kind.
Last one we did was Nutmeg for Life, right? Did you do anything since then? Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Denise. Thank
Okay.
you. You should be proud to have taken a topic that the wrong person could have made unbearably boring. Your enthusiasm for the subject comes through in the videos. Thank you.
what topic was that?
I don't know. Maybe any.
Plenty of
You
them.
do it to
Okay.
everything, John.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
okay.
the
Wonderful.
best.
Okay, whatever.
Hilltown Gramers, thank you. Aaron C, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Christina Finn, thank you.
Yes.
Candy Moore, thank you. Thank you for continuing our historic education. That's all I got.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
No
All right,
questions. Okay,
I
wonderful.
got plenty.
Okay, he's got
cool.
questions.
Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm okay.
Well, good. Buckle in, buddy.
Woo.
How did
Are we
the
doing
18th
lightning round for like 30 minutes or what?
How did the 18th century colonists deal with? Oh man, I already read that. See, Kyle needs to come back quick. Did the Revolutionary War soldiers hunt if rations were short?
So the problem is that you've got a very crowded area, and the soldiers aren't necessarily in wilderness situations, and many times, so they aren't necessarily hunting. But there are times if they're out in Nowhereville, and there's an opportunity to hunt, they might send particular people to go out and hunt for the group. Because just having a whole bunch of guys hunting, that's dangerous. That's a recipe for getting people shot. So you don't hear a lot about that necessarily in the writings for just plain, regimental, groups. But if they are out in a scouting situation or in a smaller group situation, hunting obviously is going to happen.
Oh, here we go.
I don't like that.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
This one's for Aaron.
No.
Oh, good.
Not specifically, but I'm
Kick
selecting
back.
You want
Aaron.
me to take it? All right.
For 1 million subs. Show Crimson Bonds.
No.
Aaron, do you have a
Let me-
response?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
We'll rewatch it. the three of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it ends going, you know what? That's not as bad as I remember. We'll do it.
That'll never happen. That'll never happen.
And
How's this?
Okay.
Definitely for 1 million subs. We will do a special episode where we will show a live stream where we will show bits of it, right? Like the parts that we can stand. Maybe. Even that's going to be
Okay,
hard
we're
sell.
moving on. There's a really hot topic here.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah,
Hot
we'll talk
topic.
about this another time.
Yeah.
We got a
we'll-
ways to
we
go.
can bring that up later when nobody's asking interesting questions, which
Okay.
is never. A fellow or somebody from Finland asked this first, and now a lot of people are echoing. What types of backpacks were they using? They see the basket backpack on our website, and obviously we've had videos where there are knapsacks and there's snapsacks. What are they using for backpacks?
Well, pack baskets, like you see the giant one, the one that Josh has in Crimson Bond. And we sell a smaller version, not a giant, super duper one, on our website. I think
That about
that's
killed
still-
But I did
Josh.
sell that one in the store, and
Yeah,
that was
right,
awesome.
Right. So that you'll see in a lot of different paintings, and that shows up over and over again. That's generally a civilian style of backpack per se, and they would use those in traveling. Somebody's like selling items. So if you look at the Cries of London or some of the other Cries illustrations, you'll see those referenced over and over again. It was a very popular way, and some of them were just tall. They would have great big just sticks, and they would carry things on their back, which it's the way you would do that. Military things, they had specific knapsack styles for different sorts of regiments. Specifically, if you look at the goat skin ones, those are really, really interesting. So they have leather versions, they have cloth versions. There's the new improved knapsack or haversack that is sort of an illustration of a design that's Revolutionary War time period, which most of the ones are kind of based on, which is a 2 envelope style. Those go on there. You have haversacks and you have snapsacks, which are a 17th century, early 18th century, and that's sort of like the sausage tube style.
Yeah,
that
kind
goes
of
behind
like
the back.
those military bags that were tall, like your baseball coach would have all his baseball bats stuffed in.
Right,
and it's
right.
really inconvenient to get the stuff on the bottom.
Yeah. So there's a multiple different styles, and I mean there are different ways for there are different popular styles for different sort of cultures or time periods. So there's a lot of great variation. We sell a couple of different styles on our website, but there's just so many interesting ways to do that.
Let's do some more donations. Thanks, everyone. Where do we stop at? There's one in here that I want to answer. So I think I got the.
Oh, yeah.
answer.
It's good because I got one drink too many of Madeira in me. Let me tell you,
That's
this is
looking
getting
really
difficult.
low.
It is. You've been on that.
All right, here we go. Speed and Style Tony, thank you. Have you ever been to Fort William Henry?
I have not. I'd love to go.
Okay. Charles Smith, thank you. Will, thank you. I'm still expecting to see some Townsend's D&D.
Oh
I do
boy!
like that idea a lot.
Oh boy! Is there like an 18th century D&D?
You can
kind
D&D however you want. You can just use the rules and the stats. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I know some people who have done like sci-fi D&D stuff, so you could do it. John Pennington, does Townsend's make coveralls? I don't see them in your online catalog. Use yes or no. That.
Yeah, coveralls are actually overalls. That's a style of trouser that has a sort of a toe cover on them. So it's like a cross between trousers and gaiters. They can be very difficult to get fit. We used to make them many years ago, but it was hard to get a good fit on them. They're not easy. So there you go.
This is, I think, did this person donate already? Yeah, thank you, Denise. Thank you.
Denise, thank you.
I'm ready. I'm reading a great book, A Taste for War, which talks a lot about the food from the perspective of soldiers in the Civil War in the U.S.
Civil War.
Awesome.
Very good.
Okay, this is from Caltoid 5.
Is this the one you're taking?
Yeah, I want to take this one. Thank you for the donation. Says, so tell me again, why do you think you can't make funny videos anymore? Here's the thing. We did funny videos for 3 years,
Yeah.
probably, and they weren't doing anything. They weren't getting views, no interaction, nothing. As soon as we stopped and started doing cooking videos, that's when things started going. So it's not necessarily that we don't think we can. It's like we found what we were good at, and that's what we do.
Right.
That's kind of how I would do that. What do you think?
There's also an issue of that we don't want people to take what we do as only funny.
Yes.
Right?
It's not a joke.
It's
Yes.
not a joke. We don't want history to be a joke. We don't want the idea of reenacting history to be a joke.
Yes.
And while we think there are funny bits to it, or that we could do funny things, which funny is hard to do, it's better to be serious. And I don't mind being funny-ish in a, if you call it funny, in a live stream.
Yeah, I mean, these are fun.
Right. But in a straight-up video, I like to keep that pseudo-serious. I don't know about Monday's video that's going to happen with this. I don't know what
We'll see what happens.
Well,
then.
fun is different than
Right.
trying to be funny.
Yes. There you go.
One
we
thing-
like to have fun.
Yes. And I even think like cooking episodes are fun.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Very much
But
so.
one thing too is when we started the channel, so this has been 2008, 2009, what YouTube was
Yes.
was either there was a funny platform. Mm-hmm. Like most of the bigger content creators were doing skits and
viral videos were funny, right?
yes. Oh yeah. So we kind of just thought at the time, well, that's what you do with YouTube. And it's evolved now. I don't even know if YouTube meant for it to be that. It just kind of what was happening.
I don't know
So.
if YouTube meant to be anything.
Let's
I don't-
blast
yeah.
through some questions
Yeah.
right here. What kind of fish was most commonly smoked during this time? Do you know? Maybe herring.
Well, there's a lot of the herrings that were smoked and are still smoked today, and they did smoke a lot of different sorts of fish. But as a common thing that's traded, it's herrings. There are probably some other ones that are missing, and it really depends. There are obviously little cultures and specific spots that are famous for a particular kind of fish, like the stockfish. Really, they come from a particular place, and so you would have, and even those smoked herrings, they're really from a particular spot. So beyond that, I think there was a tradition of smoking fish in so many different cultures. So I don't know how to answer it beyond that.
It's a good answer. I want to address this real quick, just so people are not. Somebody's asking a real question: how do you guys drive home from the Nutmeg Tavern? We do a lot of joking about drinking in the tavern here, but we're not going nuts. It's just we're just trying some drinks.
It's not, yeah.
So that's
Nobody's
never-
driving home in any impaired state.
That's never an issue. Do people make their own alcohol beverages, or did they buy barrels of beer?
Both. It depends on where you're at. So beer isn't as popular in North America in the 18th century as, say, it is today, or you would think it would be. Cider was much more popular. But all these households and farms, beer, cider, and I mean an alcoholic cider, wines, those things they're a product that your farm makes. And so but if it's a product your farm makes, you're not necessarily making it just for your own consumption. You're making it for consumption of others also. So
And a lot of times you're making it so stuff doesn't go bad.
Right,
I mean, it's just
exactly.
like out of necessity. If you have a mill, you're making whiskey. That's pretty much all there is to it.
yeah, and if you've got an orchard, you
Right.
cannot eat all those apples, and they can go bad. So you're going to make apple brandy, or you're going to make hard cider.
Okay, so I'm going to blitz through some of these if we can, because we want to go over the show and tell again for people that weren't around.
Okay, yeah,
then.
sure.
Can you do a mini series on building an accurate 17th or 18th century ship's galley? That'd be really cool.
I would
be a cool
really,
set.
really love to do that.
Man, that'd be a lot of fun.
I think these days we could do it.
Yeah. We just need to have a crowdfunding thing.
We've
for
got
that.
a year's worth of big projects on our plate, and then
Easy.
we'll see what happens.
Easy.
What would be the Coca-Cola of the 18th century?
Coca-Cola. Small beer, probably. A small beer.
What was the educational
cider.
system like in North America?
It's going to be very, very diversified, and I wish our education system was more diversified than it is today. A lot of it is homeschooling. There are different sorts of, I say homeschooling, but people schooled at home, I guess would be the term I would use for it. But there are lots of situations where there's small little school situations. Gunston Hall, they have a little building. It's a little tiny schoolhouse outside of the main house, and the children of the house, plus maybe a few children in the local neighborhood, they would be schooled there. So there's just all sorts of different ways of getting education in North America in the 18th century, and today we've industrialized it.
So somebody asked, can we do a show on honey mead?
We could.
I'm talking to a beekeeper right now. That'd be an interesting question to talk to him about.
Okay.
Rachel from Kalamazoo wants to know, when's the next time we're going to be in Michigan?
Probably when we...
I don't know if she knows that we go to the Kalamazoo Living History Show. So
Right. We do go to the Kalamazoo Living History Show. That's in the middle of March.
March, right? Yeah.
But I don't have any other plans for being in Michigan that I know of, other than going to visit the dunes. But that's me personally. So.
So, in the 18th century, if you're not making clothing, your own clothing to wear, are you going to a store? Are there brand names that's like, yes,
No.
that's the one?
No, not generally. They have generally you would go to a tailor, or they had stores that had off the rack kind of clothing that we're used to. They would be called slops because they fit you like that, and that was a real low end sort of clothing. It's like, somebody slammed together a whole bunch of stuff over here, and you might find one that fit you. That's the super low end clothing. Everybody else, they went to the tailor and said, I need a jacket like this in that fabric, and I want the buttons to be this, and
Have you done much metal detecting on your property or otherwise, looking for things from the time period?
Well, my piece of property probably wasn't settled before 1850, so there's not much there to find, and I'm not even sure that we of course own a piece of property. The entire homestead was probably 80 acres, 160 acres. We don't own a part that you could find anything on. No, metal detecting has never been a big part of. I have not done much of that. I've always found it interesting, but I've never done it.
When are you doing another brewing video?
Ryan and I have a bunch of brewing projects in the works. I don't know if they're going to turn into videos or just drinks for the tavern, but we've got that
It's going to happen.
In the hopper. And back on metal detecting, Jim's Red Pants, he's big into metal detecting.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If someone found an item from the 18th or 19th century while they're just walking around in a field, what should they do with it? Where could they send it if they wanted to?
I would talk to a local historical society or whatnot about that.
You could send it here.
Well, it depends on the context, and really, when you take historical things out of their context, they lose.
Right.
Sometimes all their meaning.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like people are like, oh, I'm going to send this to the huge museum in this huge city where the local museum could get a lot of use out of that.
Right. And even this one, this little piece that was metal detected, he says, it's found in Gloucester, so we know exactly where this particular piece was found. That helps give us a real context about what it is.
All right. Fastest answer possible. How was fishing done in the 18th century? Was it string, line, or net, particularly freshwater?
Yes.
All of the above.
Yes, all the above.
Do you still have 1800s eyeglasses?
Yes.
If we did a version of Dungeons and Dragons at Townsend's, who would be the dungeon master?
I'll do it.
Aaron.
Aaron steps up. He's got the most experience. And by the most, I mean he's the only one with experience. My question for you, Mr. Townsend, is what is the most useful 18th century skill that we can apply to the current age? And that's the last question before Aaron takes it.
I cannot do that in a fast way.
How about for you personally? Can you, if it's narrowed down like that?
I think it's sitting down and taking time and reading books.
Okay.
All right. A couple quick donations, and then we'll do the show and tell one more time.
Yes.
MM Smith, 1777. Thank you. My daughter wants to know what your favorite pie crust is to make. Producer Chris, tips tricorn hat, my lady. Okay. Camilla N, thank you. Mario Master 64, 2 donations from them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it.
I love that name.
Thank you, folks, for
thanks,
supporting us with Super Chat. And that is it's a real kind way of helping us do what we do. So, show and tell.
What is your favorite pie crust to make?
Oh, favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I got to answer that. To make, well, it's not puff paste. That's my favorite pie crust to buy, okay, and eat. My favorite pie crust to make, well, I like short pastes, of course. They're so simple and easy to do. The standard pie crust that we are used to today, where you take the butter, cold butter, and you take the flour and just the amount of water that will mix with it, and not too much. Maybe a little vodka if you want to do it in a more modern sense. That helps evaporate it, but that keeps this wonderful handmade pie crust. And there's nothing like a handmade pie crust compared to a store-bought pie crust. So it's worth making. But if you want to make one that looks cool, you want to make that hard. It doesn't taste good at all, but you can do some. It's kind of like a fondant, on your cake. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing this short paste. Okay, show and tell.
And go.
So the first piece here is this amazing piece that I picked up very recently on eBay. A wonderful shopping place. 18th century pipe tool. What do you call those? Modern, we call them a check tool?
Check tools, meaning check. C-Z-E-C-H.
Right. So it's a multiple tool. This one's probably, from the early 18th century. It looks like it's made of brass. Very, very, very similar to a piece that you would find today. So, real interesting piece. This one's, again, this is from Gloucester. Really interesting piece. And we may or may not make something like that. The next piece here is an 18th century pocket watch. This is 1790, 1795. And got beetle and poker hands. Got a hand-done glass crown here on this, or cover, so that we can see through this. And if you look at this watch really close up, you'll look at this really long neck or stem on it. Now, today we would have a winding piece at the top of this. This one actually winds through the back. There's a hole in the back here that would wind this up with a key. And the reason why it's got this long neck is because these were so precious that they would cover them with an outer case. So it would have another case around this with a glass front on it, and it would be this huge, sometimes they call them turnip watches, a huge watch in your pocket. I don't know how they ever carried them. They must have had a giant pocket. And of course they were so expensive, so delicate, that they would be on a chain so that you wouldn't drop them. And they really were the iPhone 11 of the 18th century, right? Super expensive thing that you would have in your pocket and you'd show off. In fact, if you wanted to show off a lot, you might have more than one pocket watch, which is ludicrous, but they would do that in the 18th century. This is the way to show that you are a very well-to-do person. You would have a very nice pocket watch, and these were handmade, beautiful, amazing pieces. Just plain gorgeous. And the last piece here, we got the whole box. Oh, here we go. Even the box is cool with this one. This is a sextant from the late 18th century. So it's a navigational piece of every midshipman, every lieutenant, every captain of a ship. He's going to have a sextant, and that's so he knows where he's at. So he's going to take a noon observation of the sun to find out its altitude. Then he can find out from the day of the year it is exactly where he is, north and south on the globe. And this thing is just gorgeous, put together in an amazing hand done. The woodwork on this, I'm not sure exactly what wood it is, but it's a dark wood. It could be ebony or rosewood, something like that. And then it's got this beautiful hand done lettering, and the people who made it, Spencer Browning and Company in London, just amazing piece. And these are pieces of the 18th century that we can hold in our hands, touch and feel, and get an idea of what the 18th century was really like. We can go to the places of the 18th century, the actual physical locations. Sometimes we can go into the buildings that are from the 18th century or reproduction buildings. We can hold pieces of the 18th century in our hands, and they really aren't that expensive. And we can read their very thoughts and see their very thoughts when they put them on, something like a painting. We can go back in history, we can understand it, and that can help us get a grip on where we are today. Have we lost things? What have we gained? It's only by understanding the 18th century that we can get a grip on where we're at and where we're going, where we want to go. Because, maybe we're not going where we want to go. So I just love these items, and they're just amazing to interact with.
I have one donation.
Yes.
Tom Maka, I think. Thank you. And that's it. No comment, no questions. So, yeah.
It's tremendous. I really feel every Friday it's a tremendous opportunity that we can get together and interact. Have a lot of fun. It's not all serious, we talked about not doing funny videos, but the 18th century isn't all serious. It's not everyone's frowning and trying to get through life. There's plenty of wonderful things about the 18th century to study. There's obviously things that we don't want to reproduce, that we want to learn from and not do again, but there's so much that we're missing. I think we're so fortunate to be able to get together in this way. So thank you for coming along in this live stream. We've got so many people that support us through Super Chat, through Patreon, through watching our videos, commenting, sharing. That's how this channel grows. It's because of you. It's because of you that we are able to do this. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thanks for watching.